following content is brought to you by Social Inform Media.
This story is brought to us from CNN.com. And here's another one. This is why it's very, very important to record the police. This is activism. Now, again, I've said I try to make it a little bit entertaining for you as far as YouTube videos go. But at the end of the day, it's activism. You know, it's like the video in Claremont, which I posted. If you look up Claremont police or cops try to or attempt to handcuff an innocent man. He tried to handcuff a guy because he was out at night knocking on doors. He wasn't committing a crime. He was just being a knucklehead. And to move on. But this story right here is why we have to record the police. 10 Chattanooga police officers have been reassigned to non-enforcement positions and will no longer be allowed to testify in court after they misrepresented the truth or filed a false report, according to the police department press release. So these guys misrepresented the truth or they filed a false police report. What happened to them? Well, they've been reassigned. They're going to be in non-enforcement positions, okay? Not charged, not prosecuted, reassigned. What happens if you or I submit a false police report, or commit perjury in court? I don't know if they committed perjury, but I guess that is perjury, right? If they're not allowed to testify anymore. The truth shall set you free. Unless you're a cop, then of course you can misrepresent the truth and still be free. I don't know. I digress. Moving on. Police Chief Celeste Murphy reassigned them after the U.S. Attorney's Office asked for a list of officers who had sustained allegations of untruthfulness or misrepresentation for the purposes of identifying officers who would not be allowed to testify in court. So the U.S. Attorney's Office is looking for this list of these guys, and they're like, we're not going to let them testify anymore. Murphy supplied the names to state and federal prosecutors. The chief said she reassigned the officers because they would not be allowed to testify in court. So they're not allowed to go out and do law enforcement. Chattanooga residents, our fellow Chattanooga Police Department officers, as well as the state and federal prosecutors who present these cases, should have full confidence that officers who investigate crimes, apprehend suspects, and testify in court uphold the highest standards of integrity, says Celeste Murphy. She goes on, it is unacceptable that a case could be jeopardized due to an integrity issue with the officer who was found to have previously misrepresented the truth or lied on a false police report. Murphy said investigations into allegations of untruthfulness or misrepresentation against the 10 officers were related to internal policy violations. It's just a policy violation, guys. Okay? I thought it was a crime. Maybe not in Chattanooga. Have you been to Chattanooga? How does that song go? Some of you old timers, help me out. CCW, help me out here. None of the 10 reassigned officers were accused of misrepresentation in court, Chattanooga police said. So they weren't, accused of perjury, I guess. Just filing a false police report and just misrepresenting the truth. The Fraternal Order of Police criticized Murphy's actions in a release and said the reassignment constitutes further discipline for internal matters which occurred more than 10 years ago. So you think if it occurred more than 10 years ago, it's not occurring now. Oh, they changed. They're little angels now. Yes, I'm sure they are. because cops get better over time, right? No, these aren't wine grapes we're talking about. These are sour apples. The Fraternal Order of Police, or FOP, said Celeste Murphy used the U.S. Attorney's Office as a scapegoat for improperly disciplining the 10 officers. They say, contrary to Chief Murphy's claim that these officers are not being demoted or punished, she is choosing to punish these officers a second time. Well, they should have been punished when they got caught lying on a police report. Now, they say by doing so, Chief Murphy has emphatically deemed the discipline rendered by past administrations, done with the full support of the city attorney and members of Chief Murphy's own command staff, as insufficient, and has acted of her own volition to administer what she alone deems appropriate. Well, of course, U.S. attorneys seem to want the list for something. Now it goes down. There's a little bit more. You can read it if you click the link below in the description box. But the Chattanooga Police Department said it has eliminated that distinction between untruthfulness and misrepresentation. And, you know, to be honest, there's no distinction. I mean, there's no distinction, I guess. Untruthfulness, misrepresenting the truth. It's the same thing. That's what I'm trying to say. You can't say, oh, I wasn't untruthful, I just misrepresented the truth. I didn't lie, I just didn't tell the truth, okay? There's a difference there. Yeah. The police department in Chattanooga has said in the future, all sustained allegations relating to untruthfulness will lead to immediate termination. Should have led to that anyway. They were reassigned, they should have been gone.